Good morning. This is Greg Bufidis, the founder and chairman of the Posse List. I'm here at the Georgetown Center for the Study of the Legal Profession, and they are holding a three-day conference entitled Law Firm Evolution, Brave New World, or Is It Business as Usual? And I must say that today it's a great pleasure to have Jordan Furlong, who's here. Jordan, as many of us know, is the expert blogger on Law 21, but he's also a partner in the firm of Edge International and senior consultant to STEM Legal. And he and I just saw what I think was a fabulous presentation on creative destruction and innovation, and I just wanted to ask you what your takeaway was on this.
Greg, I thought that my takeaway was to be really encouraged, honestly. One of the things that one of the law firm panelists said was, the people who are here don't necessarily represent the great majority of lawyers and of clients in terms of being either aware of that these issues exist or that the extraordinary changes that are going to be required in order to adapt to them. And that's true enough.
Which kind of goes to some of the comments made last night in the opening panel.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think that's fair. And you'd kind of expect that. We are at the very early stages of what's going to be a process that's going to take us at least, I think, a decade or two to fully work its way through. That said, everything I heard today at this morning's panel was extremely encouraging. We're talking about all the right things now, and we are focused on the issues that matter. We're talking to clients. We're listening to what they have to say. We are fully cognizant of what's going on in terms of what technology both offers us in terms of tools, but also presents to us as a bit of a threat as well. And my favorite part was the panelist who said, from 2001 to 2008, it was an aberration. It's gone.
Right.
It's never coming back. The sooner we lose the idea that was something close to normal, let alone sustainable, the better. So
you think Tom Yanucci was in the audience and heard that?
Well, honestly, I mean, it's and again, it's something that an entire generation. This is something that Bruce McEwen made a really good point at a presentation I saw he gave last year. He talked about the fact that over the course of the last decade, profits, in these large firms just went up year after year after year, and so many, by such a massive measure. And he said there are lawyers in there who have 5, 6, 7, 8 years experience who've never known anything but this. This is normal for them. And that's a substantial cohort of people within the firm.
Well, you've chatted about that as well on Law 21. I mean, the interesting thing about your blog is that you have basically taken all aspects of what we're calling the paradigm shift and examined that issue as many, many others. And I'm just basically telling our readers to make sure you subscribe to Law 21. Tell us a little bit more about what you're going to be presenting tomorrow and what you're going to be doing. I'm sorry, later today, actually.
The focus of the panel later on today is on new methods or new approaches for training lawyers. And that includes both the educational side, which the previous speaker will be talking about in terms of law schools, but also in terms of how lawyers are trained once they're actually in law firms themselves. I picked up on and am fascinated by this development. It's a very, very small handful of firms here in the U.S. that are doing this, that are essentially restoring the apprenticeship approach to their new lawyers. What they are doing is saying to these lawyers, look, for your first year, and to a certain extent even maybe for your second, we're going to pay you a lot less than the market rate, but you will be required to bill much fewer hours, and you will be spending a lot of your time in training. And that has many aspects to it. You'll be doing some classroom learning, I guess, but a lot of it is on in-person, hands-on skills training, things like shadowing lawyers and so forth. It's a fabulous new way to approach, and it's not an old way really, but it's a fabulous new way to approach how lawyers pick up their skills in firms. And I think it's just a fascinating topic, and I'm looking forward to talking about it.
One of the things last night that Reena Sengupta said, who is the managing director of RSG Consulting, and we interviewed her late last night after dinner, she had mentioned that her feeling was that the UK and certain elements of Europe and even Canada are kind of a step ahead of the States on making these changes. Do you agree with that?
I would, in some respects, yes, in others not so much. The UK, of course, well, I should say the UK, England and Wales is, thanks to the Legal Services Act, is extraordinary. The changes taking place here now are extraordinary, and I think they will have a global impact. In some respects in Canada as well. I mean, I'll be talking about the articling system later today. I mean, the apprenticeship program I'm talking about this afternoon, Canada's been doing this for decades through the articling system. So in many respects, yes, there are other countries that are a little bit ahead, but here in the United States, it's an extraordinary laboratory, I find, because it is such a dynamic culture and such a dynamic legal marketplace. This is actually where I think change is going to be the most explosive and is going to be the most remarkable to watch. I'm looking forward to it.
Have you done other similar programs here at Georgetown, or have had any other affiliations with Georgetown before? Or
No, this is my first trip to Georgetown and my first trip to Washington, D.C. Fabulous city. Really enjoying it.
all right, great. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Greg.